All right, today we are working on our washes chart. So I am gonna tape this quarter sheeted paper off and we'll get started. All right, I've gone ahead and labeled what I'm gonna do here just so I can have it straight in my head. And the most important thing on this flat wash is to mix enough water that I can do the whole wash. And that goes for whatever you're painting. If you're painting a full sheet and you want to do a huge flat wash, you're going to have to make sure that you have enough paint to keep it going. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to use my 1-inch watercolor brush. You get plenty of water. You can see my palette over here. And I'm going to start off using a transparent pigment. I think I shall choose quinacridone. Why not? Nice and pink, very bright. All right, I think I've got enough pigment, but just because, I'm gonna dab it one more time with a full charge of water, push it around. All right, ready to go. So I scoop it up, making sure there's lots and lots of pigment or water in there, and I can kind of check it too and drip it a little bit. This is kind of a narrow space to put our washes, and I do have my table at an incline, so that's good to note. Your flat washes won't turn out if you don't. So I set it on the paper and notice the bead at the bottom. That's your gravity working for you, and it's going to create a beautiful wash. So that's looking great. Grab that bead of water and just keep it going. I still had a good loaded brush, so don't lose that bead. Keep it going. So I didn't need to grab water that last time, but I think I might in between all my washes now just to make sure. Make sure I have that bead going. Working well so far. Watch your bead. Make sure not to touch over into the next wash space. Oh, okay. Do what I say, not what I do. I had too much water there, too much water. Maybe I saved it by deterring it there. Okay, lots of water there at the end. Let's suck it back up. Woo. And I might have saved it. We'll see. Okay, our next little wash is going to be a graded value. So I could use that same one since it's there, but I like color. And I think that pink is going to look really pretty next to cobalt teal. Grabbing some cobalt teal over here. Again, plenty of water. All right, so we're gonna grade the value, and maybe I should have used something a little darker. Maybe I'll throw some phthalo in there just for fun to make it a little darker. Okay, a little darker. Your cobalt teal isn't gonna be too dark. Okay, so loaded brush, not too much, hopefully. And just go for it. Graded value, so I'm gonna do 2, just to get it nice and dark up there. Make sure there's plenty of water in that bead, and then add some water to my brush, to that pigment over here. And, oh, I might have waited just a little bit too much. Oh, it's okay. Grab some more. It's all right. It's fine. I feel like I'm waiting a little bit in between. That's okay. Still got a good bead. Lightening it up all the way to the bottom. Sucking up the bead along the bottom so it doesn't go back into my wash. Okay, it's a little heavy on top, but that's okay. Okay, here might be a fun little challenge. Graded hue. So we're going to start with our blue. I have cobalt teal and phthalo, and I'm going to try to grade it into my pink. So I'm loaded with blue. Slowly, looking good. Grabbing just a tiny bit of that pink, mixing it with my blue. Going into a nice purple color. Oh, I put that phthalo in there and it is staining my paper right away. I think that's what it's doing. It's okay. Charge up that brush again. Okay, grabbing more pink. Ooh, there's a jump. That's okay. Again. It's not too bad. More pink. Notice I was not perfect, but it's kind of nice, right? Suck it up, suck it up. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing. Flat wash with an opaque color. I had my flat wash with a transparent, so this is just really good practice for flat washes. I'm gonna choose a different one altogether. Let's go with, I don't know, something totally different. Maybe we'll do a yellow ochre. Get enough pigment, get enough water. All right, flat wash. Wet on dry. I'm not quite getting all the way over to my tape. My bad. Keep that bead at the bottom. Another reason my graded wash looks a little heavy on top is because I waited too long, so it would have been maybe a good idea to have like steps, levels of that gradation in different puddles on my mixing palette. Okay, suck it up there at the bottom so it doesn't go back in and do a nasty little bloom. That's pretty nice. I should mention also that I am using 90-pound paper today just because I had it and I thought, I'll use it for charts. But it is bubbling up a little more than usual, if you noticed. So now I'm going to do that same yellow ochre, but we're going to do a wet on wet. So, sorry, that's just supposed to be clear water. On your paper first, just to see the difference between a flat wash going directly with wet on dry, and then now we're going to go with that same color, wet on wet. So nice loaded brush. Starts running right away, so just make sure you get it all over. You can kind of play with it a little bit more, try to get your even, oh, I got a hair in there. That'll bug me. All right, just try to get your even consistency of that wash. Suck out the extra. All right, so a little bit more granulation as that starts to settle in, and that's to be expected with a wet on wet. Still very nice, if I say so myself. All right, and just to keep with my little theme here, I'm gonna do my mingled wash with those three colors. So I'm gonna mix them here, have them ready to go. Very nice. Now, all those colors together would probably make mud. So let's try to keep them apart, nice and mingled, but not together. All right. Clear water. My water's getting a little murky, but this is going to be our mingled wet and wet. I'm doing wet on wet. Use a big brush and just make sure the surface is shiny but not dripping. So sometimes there's little dry spots you can see and go back over them. But you don't want beads at the bottom of your paper either. So let's hit it with some quinacridone first, because why not? You know what? It's mingled, and I don't necessarily have to have gravity work in the same way. I can kind of move it around as I like. Pretty, colorful, cute little girly mingled wash. Let me touch a little bit more. Kind of looking like tie-dye, no real rhyme or reason. All right, I like that. Get out the extra. All right, there we go. Washes chart. One more important thing to note is that we do not want to touch these washes until they are completely bone dry to do our calligraphy on top of them. Okay guys, these washes are dry, and so now we're just going to practice some calligraphy or line work, and I've grabbed my smaller brushes. Right now this is a round number 3, a round 4, I guess this is a sable, and then I've got my squirrel brush, and I'm just going to practice some no pressure calligraphy, some writing, some floral and decorative type things, just to get used to my brushes and have a little bit of practice.